I wasn't supposed to be home until next Thursday. My work trip overseas had been extended twice, and the mansion sat empty. At least that's what I thought. But the moment my car rolled into the driveway, I knew something was off. The front gates were open, curtains drawn back, and, most telling, a faint trail of smoke drifted from the outdoor fireplace I rarely used. As I stepped out of my car, the muffled thump of music echoed from inside. My pulse quickened. I punched in my security code, expecting silence. Instead, the door swung open before I could even turn the knob. A woman in her late 50s, sharp bob haircut, oversized sunglasses, stood there in a silk robe as if she owned the place. Can I help you?" she asked, feigning confusion. "I live here," I replied, my voice flat. Her lips twitched into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "That's cute, but you must be mistaken. This is my home, and I'm going to have to ask you to leave before I call the police." I almost laughed, but something in her tone made my stomach knot. She was dead serious. I stepped inside, my shoes sinking into my Persian rug, the one I personally had shipped from Morocco. "Lady, I have proof this is my property." "You're trespassing." She didn't flinch. Instead, she pulled out her phone and dialed. "Yes, officer? There's an intruder in my home. He's threatening me." Minutes later, 2 police cars pulled up. I could see the officers hesitate as they approached, hands hovering near their belts. "Sir, step outside," one said. "She's been living here," Karen announced triumphantly. 2 weeks now. My HOA approved it. "Oh?" My mind spun. I didn't even have an HOA. One officer looked at me. "Do you have ID?" "Yes, but—" I started, reaching into my jacket. "Slowly," he warned. Karen folded her arms, smug. That's when I decided I wasn't letting her manipulate the situation. "Officers, check the deed records." "This is my legal residence." Karen's smile wavered. "You'll see. The HOA board doesn't exist here," I cut in. "And you're about to explain how you got inside." The lead officer exchanged a glance with his partner. "Let's all step inside and sort this out." As we walked in, I braced myself. If she'd been living here 2 weeks, what I found inside could change everything. The moment we stepped into the living room, my jaw tightened. My sleek leather furniture had been replaced with floral print couches. Family photos, her family, lined the mantel where my art pieces once stood. Even my crystal whiskey decanter had been filled with lemonade. "What did you do to my house?" I demanded. Karen breezed past me, waving at the officers as if giving a tour. "I've been here under HOA relocation rights. This neighborhood needs stability, and I was chosen to maintain the property while it was vacant." "Vacant?" I echoed. "My house isn't a community park bench, and there's no HOA here." The younger officer frowned. "Ma'am, can you show proof of these rights?" Karen produced a manila envelope, stuffed with neatly typed letters, each bearing an official-looking HOA letterhead. But even from a few feet away, I recognized the formatting. It was the exact template software I had on my home office computer. "You printed those here, didn't you?" I said slowly. Karen's shoulders stiffened. "They're legitimate." The officers glanced at each other again. One began flipping through the papers. "These signatures, they're photocopies." I stepped toward my study door, but Karen suddenly blocked my way. "You can't go in there." That was all I needed to hear. I pushed the door open and stopped dead. Inside, stacks of my unopened mail lay scattered across the desk. Several envelopes from the bank were torn open, and in the corner, my safe, once locked, was ajar. "Officers," I said, my voice cold. "You're going to want to see this." The older cop stepped inside, peering into the safe. Cash withdrawals, jewelry. "Sir, you said you were overseas." I nodded slowly. 3 weeks. I have security cameras. Footage should still be saved to the cloud. Karen's composure finally cracked. This is all a misunderstanding. I was protecting the property from squatters." The younger officer shook his head. "Ma'am, you are the squatter." They read her rights right there in my living room. As they led her out, she kept glancing back at me, muttering about community bylaws and ungrateful neighbors. When the squad cars finally disappeared down the road, The silence in the mansion felt heavy. I walked through each room, noting every detail she had changed, every personal trace she had tried to erase. That night, I restored the locks, reset the alarm, and contacted my attorney. 2 weeks later, I got word. The so-called HOA didn't exist anywhere on county records. Karen had been using the scam for years, targeting homes she thought were left empty. She picked the wrong target this time, and I'm still here, making sure no one else ever gets away with what she did. If you think what Karen did was unbelievable, just wait until you hear the other HOA scams I've uncovered. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a story. Tap like if you enjoyed watching her plan unravel. And drop a comment telling me, what would you have done if you came home to find a stranger living in your house?